So, right now we have a couple platformer fighters, right? Most of us play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and that sort of thing. But there has been another one that has been kind of getting a lot of attention at the current moment in time, and that being MultiVersus. By the time of this recording, MultiVersus would have just fully released, and I believe they would have just added LeBron James to the game, which is such a weird sentence to say out loud, but I thought it would be, a good time to kind of just talk about my general opinions on the game as someone who has played a ton of these kind of games. Now, I've played games like Rivals of Aether, Slap City, Nickelodeon All-Stars, and a couple of other platform fighters, so, I've played a good couple of them. I wouldn't say I am amazing at all of them. I'm mostly just good at Smash Brothers. The rest, I'm decent at. I'll leave it at that. I'm pretty decent at, right? MultiVersus, if you didn't know, is another platformer fighter similar to that of Smash Brothers, similar to Rivals of Aether, and a bunch of games like that, right? And it's a pretty good game from what I've gathered so far. Like, I've played it since the alpha. I've been playing it a bit here and there during the beta. The best I've done in the beta isn't too bad, I would think. I've gotten to maybe like top 50 in teams with certain characters. The highest I've made in the overall leaderboard is probably in the top like 100. I think I made it to at some point. That's kind of it. That's as far as my expertise in terms of MultiVersus really goes. But I do want to point out some of the things that I like and dislike from the game. So I'll start with what I like, because I think that, is better. Essentially, what I like is the presentation. The presentation is very good. It feels like they put a lot of care and love into this game. Platformer fighters as a genre is a very new genre in most cases. Like, I know Smash Brothers existed for quite some time, but we didn't really see that many developers attempt that style until, I don't know, I want to say a couple years ago or so. Like, there were some games, but they started to crop up a lot more often. We started seeing Nick All-Stars, MultiVersus. Rivals of Aether was a lot earlier. They're also coming with a sequel to Rivals of Aether. So there is a lot of new content coming. With that being said, because of that, the genre being new, most of the developers who handle these projects are typically smaller teams, not teams that you see with large budgets and, things like that. It's nothing AAA, of course. Because of that, when MultiVersus comes around, it is still being developed by a smaller team, but something about the way the game is presented to us gives me the impression that they have a lot more of a budget going into this game than you see in other platform fighters. So on the presentation department, this game is very well polished. It looks very good, and I think it's probably one of the better looking platformer fighters out there, which is kind of cool. The game is also free to play, so I know that's going to bring into question how people feel about the monetization aspect of the game. And I will say that I don't personally have any issues with it, but I'm also someone that I think has a very high tolerance for certain things. From what I can tell, there is no pay-to-win aspect of it. It isn't a situation like Pokemon Unite where you were able to buy, items that made you perform better in battle. That isn't really the case here. You cannot buy perks. You can't buy, things that would technically give you an advantage. There is a rotation of free characters, and then you kind of have to unlock characters, and you could unlock characters with real money, but they also allow you to unlock characters using in-game currency or gold, which would allow you to essentially unlock every character in the roster just by playing the game. And from what I've seen personally, from me playing with the toast system, which is a system that lets you almost give respect to certain people, and how there is a buff for playing with teammates and that sort of thing, it doesn't feel like it takes too long to get the character you want. I'm someone who likes to play like between 3 different characters. I enjoy playing Harley, Wonder Woman, and Arya. And Wonder Woman you get for free through doing the tutorial. Harley just happened to be in the free rotation, and Arya I had to get through this system. And essentially, like, it didn't take long at all. And Arya, mind you, is an expert character, and for some reason every expert character is 3,000 gold in the game. That's just how much it is. And it didn't take very long for me to get Arya. And also, on top of that, it also didn't take me long to get other characters that I just wanted to have just because, like Iron Giant, and I believe I also unlocked Velma. And it didn't take too long. It really didn't take too long. It feels like if you're someone who's going to be on the game and active, you're going to get characters at a reasonable rate, and it doesn't really feel like it's an issue to me. Other things you can pay for with the monetization is like a lot of cosmetics, like ring out effects and like character skins and that sort of thing. Like it's not offensive to me. There's also no loot boxes, so it's not like you have to randomly, I don't know, hope you get something nice. Like you just buy what you want and that's it for the most part. Like the monetization seems fine to me. The only criticism I would give on the monetization aspect is it does kind of feel like, and I don't know, maybe this is just me, that the Founders Pack is a little overpriced. It doesn't feel like because they have a Founders Pack that I believe is $40, $60, and $100. It's like 3 different tiers. In those tiers, you get some stuff, but I don't know. I think, in my opinion, this is not. I'm not sure if this is necessarily indicative of an overpriced pricing model or anything like that. It might just be my opinion on the value I place on the items within the pass in of itself. But like the Founders Pass just feels kind of overpriced to me. But that's pretty much it. Now, in terms of the gameplay, like that is the main draw. That is the main reason you're going to be playing this game. And I will say that the gameplay is pretty solid. It does feel a little floaty. So if you're someone who has an issue with like floaty-ish gameplay, you might not, vibe with this as much. I don't personally mind. I don't think floaty is necessarily a negative in a game like this. It's just a different style of play. And I will point out that the game is a small team. It does have a relatively small team. So Tony on Twitter has been a godsend in just being very active within the community and trying to fix all the little bugs and issues the game does have. So credits to him for that. And in terms of the issues I would personally have with the game, now mind you, this doesn't necessarily mean that these are facts, that this game has these issues with these characters or anything like that. This is just my personal opinion as to what I feel should change in the long run of this game. Essentially, I believe that certain hitboxes are way too generous to be the way that they are in this game. There are a lot of characters in this game that have hitboxes that just do not make sense to me. I don't know, maybe that's debatable for some people. For instance, I will point out that Shaggy's uppercut at times can clip people much farther than I would believe to be intended. Like, it does look very odd when it happens. There is also a situation with Bugs' attacks with Bugs Bunny, where he's able to clip you with attacks that don't really look like they should be hitting you. I know they, at the time of this recording, they just released the patch notes for Bugs Bunny, and they kind of like made the attack slower or something along those lines, but it wasn't necessarily like an adjustment to the hitbox or anything like that, so I'm not entirely sure what they're hoping for there. But in general, I wish that some of the hitboxes on these characters were tightened. Some characters are just hitting you through the air, essentially. It isn't like the worst thing like in the world. I've seen much worse hitboxes than other platform fighters, but I am someone who feels like the animation should, I don't know, match the hitbox, and it does feel like some of these moves are a little too generous in that department. Another thing I would also point out is that there are certain characters who have what seems to be true combos that are just instant death combos for the most part, like touch of death sort of situations. Me and a friend have already discovered like a combo that works with Shaggy specifically, that if the person playing Shaggy does not drop the combo or anything of the sort, it's just an instant death scenario where he's able to loop you into a combo until you just die. Like you just lose. I don't know if that should be there. I'm not exactly sure how they envision the MultiVersus meta to go. Maybe they want something like this. Maybe because Smash Ultimate has characters like this. Like we have Kazuya in Smash Ultimate, who essentially with one grab or one Electric Wind Godfist, like he can instantaneously kill you for the most part. So it isn't an unheard of thing. I'm just unsure if that's something they want in MultiVersus. But one of them I feel is a little more situational because it requires a charge, but the other one you could just do whenever. But yeah, that's kind of it. There's just a couple of things like that I would change. That's not a ton I would change about a lot of other characters. It's mostly just the giant hitboxes are my main complaint with the game. It isn't as bad as other platform fighters I've seen, but it is something that I think should be addressed. And the nerf to Bugs Bunny's up air, which is a move I would consider to have a very generous hitbox, doesn't really feel like they're addressing the hitbox situation. It feels like they're finding other ways of balancing the giant hitboxes, which might be a solution. I'm not entirely sure on that, but I don't know. I'm not a developer, so who knows? Maybe that'll actually make the move more bearable. But that's kind of it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown of how I feel about MultiVersus. My experience is a lot more positive. Like, it is a lot more positive. I don't have much to complain about in this game. I'm liking what seems to be the trend of the game right now. I would change a couple of things, but I also don't work at Player First. I don't work with Tony, so like I'm not entirely sure how that will play out. But I will say it is mostly positive, with a couple of hitches here and there that I feel exist within the game. Personally, I just don't feel like hitboxes should be as generous as they are, and I find the Founders Pack a little bit overpriced, and I do think that Touch of Death combo should be avoided for the most part. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I don't know, like the video if you liked it, and comment down below how you feel. Maybe have you been playing MultiVersus? Do you care at all? I know a lot of people are very stuck on just the Smash side of things, but if you're someone who's willing to play a lot of these different types of games, let me know how you feel about it. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next one.
Shifty, yeah, shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and get me. It'd be dope if you subscribe, could you like the vid, please? Take your time, you don't gotta do it swiftly. Shifty, shifty, wanna be the #1 gamer, come and